Hey, board gamers, BJ from Game Gumbo here, back with another live play. This time we played New Frontiers from Rio Grande Games. Bradley, Jay, and I played it as a 3-player, and then we gave you some final thoughts. The other video that's coming out in a couple of days has the full playthrough. This is just our final thoughts after playing once or twice. So there's not a final review, just our impressions after playing it the first or second time. So take a look and let's get to the table. Didn't really get anything going.
You needed to spend your money.
I was going to. I finally had enough money to buy this thing.
When he reminded me that money and resources were like not worth any victory points, I was like, yeah, I gotta get rid of this.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Which if I get that, I get to consume for victory points. So, man. I needed one more round.
Cool. I mean, even with one player role for the Galaxy, I like this a lot better.
Yeah. So the reason why I like this one, and I knew I was going to like it, but I like Race for the Galaxy and Roll for the Galaxy as well. Not just because we played, but also because like these two rows are always the same, but these are double-sided, so you can play on the advanced side. I mean, that's just 2 money for 4 points.
Yeah.
If you have that. All of these are double-sided, which is really cool. And you could do them randomly. You can do them all advanced. All the player boards are double-sided. There's there's a lot of player boards. I think there's 8, and you can only play 5 players. There's more player boards than you can actually sit players at the table. I just really like that variability. It is an expensive game.
Is it?
I think MSRP is $60.
Wow.
And I think a lot of it comes from these guys, which are really cool.
I mean,
they are cool, man.
They're cool little toys.
I feel like 60 isn't bad for all this.
Yeah.
I mean, you just talked about the replayability, which is high, and the components aren't like low quality components. This is some nice stuff.
Lots of thick board, man.
Yeah.
I mean, look how thick this is.
I mean, honestly, a lot of what probably brought it up to 60 was the resources and all this die cutting.
Okay, so 60 is the
MSRP?
not MSRP price. That's the sale price. If you buy it from
so the MSRP is
if you buy it from websites that will not be mentioned, MSRP is 75.
Okay. Yeah, don't mention any websites until they start.
That's where I like.
That's
okay,
right.
do I really want to pay for
If any of
this?
you websites are
Here's
watching,
your chance. Here's your chance.
we will mention you for a little bit of that stuff. You know,
little discount.
No, these are. I love these, but I like the little 3D toy mechanics. And Rio Grande just does high quality components, just in general.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, this and like Among the Stars, just the component quality of them is always, you can find boutique games that do it better, but just for like a game you're going to find on a store shelf or even like a Target shelf, you can't beat it.
This is me going into graphic design a little bit, but like these didn't need to be shaped like arrows. It could have been squares. It would have fit the same amount of space, everything. But you're right. Just that little extra something makes it that much more fun to play.
If you've ever been to Space Mountain, this reminds me of Space Mountain. It has that. It has that 1970s, science fiction vibe going. I just love that, man.
And the thing that I like is that there's continuity between all 3 games, because this New Galactic Order, that's in Race for the Galaxy, that's in Roll for the Galaxy. Like it's an iconic, and it does the same thing. Yeah, in all of them, pretty much.
Even though it's small, I actually like the artwork. The artwork's pretty cool in here. I don't know if you got a chance to take a look.
I didn't pay a lot of attention.
You
to
don't
it. On the planets, you do.
We're so busy looking at the icons. But if you ever have a little chance to sit down and take a look at this stuff, I mean, look, some of these, like the Alien Tech Institute, some of these are really neat looking. Like these tiles here are kind of my favorites because they're big, wide. You get to see a lot more.
I mean, once you get a grasp of how to maximize, your turn versus feeling your opponents out for what they're going to do, so that you can maximize on that, and just the iconography, it's like. This is a solid game.
About. I never got to maximize anyway. No, I know what you're saying because I was, and that's not normal for me. I was consciously looking at your boards going, he doesn't have any goods. Oh, he has no money. How can I take advantage of that?
But when you're playing a game that has that sort of mechanic, that's what you do.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I like it so much. Because, well, it's not because, you're purposely trying to take an action that forces somebody else to not get something, but it keeps you involved in the game, even when it's not your turn. By following, you're involved, and also you're involved in the other player's board states because you're trying to gauge, I don't want to give them something that's really going to help them.
Right. I should have done more like you two, because I was told before the game that this is a game where you're not going to win if you try everything, if you take a little bit of everything.
Oh, yeah.
And as you can see, look at all the different colors I have, all the different actions.
Yeah.
This is where you pick a strategy like you're doing or you're doing and hammer that. Whatever
Well,
comes out in the tiles, right?
I told Jay before we started that there's really 3 things that you really look at, like right when you start playing. And this is actually the same in Race and the same in Roll for the Galaxy. You look at your starting planet, see if that gives you some form of starting point, and then you either explore or you develop, because those 2 actions are like will set the tone really for your play experience. So I think exploring,
You got to build that engine.
Yeah, I mean it's you don't get that many explore actions. You don't get that many extra planets. I mean, like I filled up the tableau, but the tableau of planets is only 8. I only got 8 planets during the entire game, and I was getting extra planets because that's one of the survey team gives you extra planets. I took the explore action I think twice, so I got 2 extra planets that way. Like you don't see that many planets. It's not like Race.
How many are
where
there?
You see a ton of them. There's like 50. There's quite a decent selection.
It's cool. Honestly, I'd probably, like thinking about my game group, I'd probably get this because, like you mentioned, there's not a whole lot of player interaction at all except for just purchasing.
Right.
But it's really replayable and it's really just fun to like see how you're gonna build.
There's
out
not a
your
lot of
empire.
direct interaction, but again, I think paying attention to what other people are doing.
So I was wondering why we would play a board game version after playing all the other ones. But the fact that you have those meeples standing up here, this little line here that you can, I can look at everybody's board and see how we're getting close to the end. I see the attraction to it. But one of my favorite parts is the simplicity of the between round cleanup. God, that was so easy. Just whoosh, put a thing on the produce and then move.
Some games, you play at 3 or 4 players, and you're like, I wouldn't play with more than this. I think playing this at 5.
Oh.
There's no downtime though.
Yeah, like I'm thinking about all the extra actions you'd get.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be so good.
It would be. This would play well at 5, I bet.
I think because at 5 you're only not doing 2 actions around, which means that if you can assume that nobody's doing either one of these, you're doing everything.
Yeah.
Every round.
The only 2 slow actions are these 2,
The explore action is a little
and
slower.
these 3 you actually do.
Right.
These 3 don't affect anybody else. You can do them all at the same time, especially since these 2 are only one person. But trade and consume, you do it basically at the same time.
Is it the same number of? Oh,
Well, it's more meeples on the
meeples?
board.
Okay.
But it's the same number you grab from the board.
Gotcha.
It's 12
That's what
per
I was going to
player.
ask. Okay, if there were more.
So we played with 36.
Gotcha. So
If you play with 5, you play with 60.
Okay.
And there's more victory points.
Jay, you're playing
per
this
player,
with your
too.
game group, 3 or 4 players, right?
Yeah.
And you all know the game. You could literally knock out 3 games of this in an hour and a half, right?
And that's the thing. Like the develop action is slow for your first playthrough, but these are always the same. There's only 2 options here, and there's 2 options there. You learn them really quick.
Yeah, and like you were saying, once you look at your starting planet, if you know how to play the game, you know what you're going to try to do throughout the game.
When we were playing Jump Drive a lot more regularly, we never played it once. We always played it 2 or 3 times back to back because you're like, oh, I want to do this again. I want to try a different strategy, right?
Yeah, we
Let's see
played
what
Jump
comes
Drive
out.
like 3 or 4 times in a row.
Always, And this is a game that I would. Roll for the Galaxy is so noisy. I don't think I could play it 3 or 4 times in a row because my head would hurt with all the shaking.
And
the
Roll for the
dice.
Galaxy is slower because there's more like the develop and the explore action, the slow actions. That's every action in Roll for the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Or
This
almost.
feels like the best version of this same game that he's done over and over again. But this feels like the best version of it. At least you don't have to one play. Yeah, maybe fourth.
If you count Jump Drive.
Yeah.
See, I think I played Jump Drive more just because it's more accessible and it's quicker. And like you said, when you play it 3 times.
Did he design San Juan?
But as far as like the games, I prefer this one. Race, it depends. I would love to play Race of the Galaxy with everything. I never have because I don't know anybody who owns everything.
My problem with Race is that unlike this iconography, which I picked up right away, in Race, all those symbols. Wow, there's so much to remember with all those symbols.
And I think
everything is symbols.
I think the board state in both Race and Roll get lost a little bit. Like you said, you can see the board state here. You can see when somebody's close to the development victory, when they're close to a colony victory, when it's close to colonists being run out. You can see all those things. I think in Race and in Roll, that kind of gets hidden a bit. So the ending kind of sneaks up on you. And this one, we knew. I mean, we were looking at the meeples, and we knew next round, maybe one after
maybe
that.
2 rounds, and that's it. Yeah, we knew that.
Speaking of develop, I feel like that was not underutilized, but that was never something we were pushing to make the
Yeah.
end condition, you know?
I think, in terms of in-game conditions, that was the farthest one from happening.
Yeah.
But you can also specialize in it. Like if you
That's what I was looking for. Is there
Right.
anything that gives you like an extra development or?
not an extra one, but there's a lot of things that give you discounts.
Yeah.
So if you're taking the first player action to develop and you're getting that free discount and then you're getting another -2 or -3 on top of it, I mean, you're building 4 cost developments for nothing.
I hadn't thought of that. And if you get all of those, that's 30 points right there, probably, if you did that. Especially if you could get enough money to get one of these on top of that.
And I bet you one of the backsides of these is specifically developments because that was in Roll and Race for the Galaxy.
Probably
so. That worked off developments.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was working toward this one, and I just, you got to watch that end game because this would have been 11 points for me if I could have gotten
I
it.
should have tried to get this one with the alien tech because I had 3.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, those in-game, without that in-game condition, I'm down to basically almost your score. I mean, that was that many points. That a lot of times that becomes the difference is who can get the in-game condition before the end of the game.
Yeah.
Develop a -1 cost? Wow, after you buy this? I don't know how that would help at that point. It seems like you'd have such a good engine, you wouldn't need a -1 cost.
Well, at that
unless maybe
point,
you're buying another
I mean,
one.
you could save up for that at the beginning.
I mean, but if you already have a -4 and you're paying 5 for that instead of 9, and now it gives you another -1, and on top of that, it's giving you points for every development you have.
Once you get that, you just develop.
You actually kind of get this mid-game and then develop after
Or
that and just
as
take
early
as
as
many
possible.
points as you can, right?
As early as
And
possible.
He's right. The Galactic Federation, that's the one.
I know there's I think it's a planet that lets you develop, or not develop, but settle twice. There may be one that lets you develop twice.
That's crazy.
Thumbs up for me. I like this.
I like it a lot.
Might be the best one out of the ones I've played.
I like Roll for the Galaxy, but I understand why people don't like it. But I prefer this to Race. And Jump Drive I like, but it just doesn't have the depth that the longer ones
No, it's
do.
more of just a little filler card.
But I do enjoy playing.
Little tapas.
Play it four times in a row in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
It's frustrating because you feel like you're controlling it and then.
And I really think we hit this in 30 minutes, which is nice.
Oh yeah,
I was looking at my watch and
absolutely right under.
Who's
under
OG
an hour.
Hobbit?
Yeah, that's Matt.
That's Matt.
Yeah,
Hey, Matt.
Matt had been checking it out. Said the stream sounded good.
Cool.
Well, that is. I almost said Race for the Galaxy. That is New Frontiers from Tom Lehman. Is this from Rio Grande Games?
Oh, yeah.
Our thanks to Rio Grande Games for sending us a review copy. We've enjoyed playing it. And also check out Bradley's unboxing if you want to see a full overview of the game and all of the components. That is already up on the website if you want to check that. Thumbs up for me.
thumbs up.
Any final thoughts on it?
No, I mean, we talked about it quite a bit.
Good.
Although this isn't a review copy, this is my copy.
Oh, it wasn't from Rio Grande Games. That's what I was asking you
traded
for.
this.
Oh, okay. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
For Jay and for Bradley, I'm BJ from Board Game Gumbo. This was New Frontiers from Rio Grande Games. Thumbs up from all of us. And until next time, laissez le bon temps rouler.